Every culture on earth agrees on one thing. Hope is good. Hope is necessary. Hope is what separates the ones who make it from the ones who don't. We tattoo it on our wrists. We put it in graduation speeches. We whisper it to ourselves at 3 a.m. when everything feels like it's falling apart. But nobody asks the uncomfortable question. What if hope is hurting you? From the moment we're old enough to understand language, we're handed a story. Keep hoping. Keep believing. The ones who never gave up are the ones who won. And we can point to examples. The entrepreneur who failed 7 times before succeeding. The athlete who trained through injury and made it to the top. The person who held on through the darkest season and came out the other side. But for every one of those stories, there are thousands of people who hoped just as fiercely, worked just as hard, believed just as deeply, and still didn't get there. We don't tell their stories. Hope has a survivorship bias problem, and nobody talks about it. There is a particular kind of suffering that doesn't come from losing something. It comes from waiting. When I get the promotion, I'll finally feel secure. When this phase passes, we'll be happy again. When I lose the weight, life will really begin. When things calm down, I'll start living. This is hope operating as a trap, quietly convincing you that the present moment is merely a waiting room for the life you're actually going to live. That real life is always just around the next corner. And the cruelest part, the hoping itself feels productive. It feels like forward motion. It mimics meaning so convincingly that years can pass before you stop, look around, and realize you were always preparing to live, never quite doing it. Hope, unchecked, is the art of being perpetually almost there. We talk endlessly about the power of hope. We almost never talk about what it costs. Hope requires a target, and every target you set creates a version of the future you become emotionally attached to. You don't just want the thing anymore. You need it, because you've constructed your sense of future well-being around its arrival. This is when hope stops being a gentle lantern in the dark and starts being a hostage situation. When the thing doesn't come, and often it doesn't, or it comes in a different form, or later than expected, or at a cost you didn't anticipate, you don't just experience disappointment. You experience a collapse of identity, because the hoped-for future wasn't just a wish. It was who you were going to become. It was the person you'd been investing in, month after month, year after year. Grief for a lost hope isn't smaller than grief for a lost person. Sometimes it's larger, because at least with loss, reality is clear. With failed hope, you also have to grieve the future that never existed. Here's where it gets biological. The human brain is wired structurally to overestimate positive future outcomes. Neuroscientists call it the optimism bias, the tendency most people have to believe that their future will be better than the average person's future, even when statistics say otherwise. We think our marriage will be happier than most. Our business will be the one that makes it. Our health will hold longer than expected. Our kids will turn out fine despite the chaos. This isn't stupidity. It's a feature, not a bug. The optimism bias is part of why humans take risks at all, why we have children, why we start companies, why we get up after failure. Without it, the species might have given up a long time ago. But it also means that hope is, at its neurological root, a form of motivated delusion. We hope because we systematically overestimate our chances, and we build lives around expectations that are, statistically, unlikely to be met exactly as we imagined. The brain that keeps you hoping is the same brain that keeps you from seeing clearly. There's an old proverb, not a self-help quote, but an ancient one, that says, "Hope deferred makes the heart sick." 4 words do the real work there. Makes the heart sick. Not sad, not disappointed. Sick. The kind of sick that accumulates over years of almost, of nearly, of not yet. The chronic, low-grade illness of a life spent in anticipation. People who've spent decades waiting for a relationship to change, for recognition that never came, for a version of themselves they never quite became. They don't just feel let down, they feel hollowed out. There's a psychological phenomenon called arrival fallacy. The moment you achieve the thing you hoped for and feel, instead of joy, a strange flatness, a vacancy. Because the self that did all that hoping has nothing left to do. The engine that was keeping you moving was the hope itself, not the destination. And once the destination arrives, the engine stalls. People who've experienced this describe it as one of the most disorienting feelings in human experience. You got what you wanted, you're supposed to feel something, and you feel almost nothing. Because hope was never really about the thing. Hope was about having a direction. And now the direction is gone. There's a version of hope that isn't courage. It's avoidance in a costume. The relationship that's been broken for years. But you hope it'll get better. So you don't have the conversation. The job that's killing you slowly. But you hope things will change. So you don't look for something else. The dream you've been holding on to for a decade, long past the point where it matches who you are now. But letting it go feels like losing yourself. So you keep hoping, even though you haven't actually worked toward it in years. This is hope weaponized against action. The belief in a better future used as a reason not to engage with the present. The longer we hope, sometimes, the less we do. Genuine hope should create motion. It should narrow the gap between where you are and where you want to be. When hope is real, it translates into choices, into discomfort, into the daily work of becoming. When hope is a defense mechanism, it replaces all of that. It substitutes the feeling of progress for the reality of it. Ask yourself honestly, is your hope making you braver? Or is it making you patient in a situation that doesn't deserve your patience? If you've read this far and feel a kind of vertigo, a loosening of something you've held tightly for a long time, that's not a sign to stop reading. That's the feeling of an honest question landing, because the alternative to dangerous hope is not hopelessness, it's not cynicism, it's not the dead-eyed realism of someone who has given up on the future entirely. The alternative is something harder and rarer, presence without precondition. The willingness to engage fully with your life as it actually is, not as you hope it will be. To find value in the work itself, not in the imagined reward at the end. To love people as they are, not as you hope they'll become. To show up completely for the moment you're in, without treating it as a rehearsal for something better. This isn't resignation. It's a different kind of courage, arguably a harder one, because it requires giving up the protection that hope provides. The comfortable distance between yourself and your actual life. Here it is. The thing this entire essay has been building toward. The life you're waiting for is the one you're already in. Not a consolation, not a compromise, a fact. This moment, with all its imperfection, its incompleteness, its failure to match the version you hoped for, is not the waiting room. It is the room. And the only question that remains, once you really let that land, is what you're going to do with it.